And why do I say that? Listen, if you're a guy going to camps or you're doing a lot of one-on-ones and that kind of stuff, you're going to get beat more often than you're going to win. There are a lot of things that you've got to do at defensive back, but these are three low-key things that every defensive back must be able to do to excel, and we're going to talk about that right now. And when I say low key, I mean these are things that not a lot of guys think about when they think about defensive backs, whether you actually played a position or you're a fan watching defensive backs. These things don't really come into your mind, but there's really in the background really huge things that contribute to how you are playing out on the field. And so with that being the case, you've got to pay some attention to these things and really try to dominate in these low-key areas that people from the outside looking in don't really recognize or realize, but understand that these are elements that are a part of pretty much all great DBs, past or present. They have these things as a part of them. And if you're lacking in any or, all or many of these areas out of the three, then it's in your best interest to start doing some work there to help yourself become a better player. Along with all of the weightlifting and running that you're going to be doing this off season, you need to develop in these areas right here. One of those areas is you need to have a short memory. All right. So this is basically me talking to you about confidence. Have you ever been around a player that maybe in your mind he doesn't seem to be that good, but you can't convince him of that? He thinks he's a great player. There's a saying that goes, fake it till you make it. And sometimes that's what you need to be as a defensive back, especially if you're just starting out. You're a young guy. You got to fake it till you make it. And why do I say that? Listen, if you're a guy going to camps or you're doing a lot of one-on-ones and that kind of stuff, you're going to get beat more often than you're going to win. It's like a batter in baseball. They go up to that plate, and even if they're good, they're only going to get a hit 3 out of the 10 times that they come up to play. So that means 7 times they're going to fail. They can't let those 7 times that they've failed dominate their thought process, because they won't be able to get to those 3 times out of the 10 where they get hits. And if you're hitting the ball and getting base hits 3 times out of 10, you're good in baseball. Same thing when you're playing DB. All right. You're going to lose more times than not in one-on-ones if you're going against any type of decent receivers. I'm not talking to you going against guys that you should dominate. That doesn't really help you for times when you're going to be playing in real games. If you're going against real receivers and you've got real competition out there, you're going to lose more times than not. You got to have a short memory. You can't take the times that you got beat, even if it was beat deep for a 60, 70-yard touchdown. You can't let dominate your mind for the next rep. Once that rep is over, it's over. You got beat for a 70-yard touchdown. Cool. I tell guys this all the time. Getting beat on a big play like that has its blessings wrapped up in it.
If you're a brand new coach and you've been thrusted into a job and you're kind of overwhelmed, I've got a great resource for you. The All Eyes DB Camp members area will get you up to speed so you can get your guys in the right position to make plays and make you look like an all-star coach. I've got everything in there, from quizzes, coverages explained, technique breakdowns, strategy sessions, everything you need to ramp up your coaching ability and turn your guys into playmakers. Hit the link down below. Come join us in the All Eyes DB Camp members area. Greatness awaits you.
What now happens is the offense thinks it's sweet. They think that's a place to go. All right. And so now, rather than the first couple times, the offense went your way, you were around the ball, you got the ball, knocked down, whatever, and the quarterback thinks, I'm not going to really be able to get much going to that side of the field today, and he just starts focusing elsewhere. And now for the rest of the game, you're out there, it's a yawner, right? They're not throwing the ball your way. Sometimes getting beat for that big play can be a blessing, because now that quarterback and the offense thinks they can go back over there again. I mean, why not? All right. They went over there and they cashed a check. They went to your side of the field and they cashed a check. Well, what does the offense want to do? They want to keep cashing those checks. They want to keep getting yards. They want to keep making plays. They want to keep getting touchdowns. So now they're going to keep coming over there to your side. And what do we want as DBs? More than anything else, opportunities to make plays. So yes, you got beat for a touchdown or a big play, whatever the case may be. If you just rinse that out of your head and get back on task and just be about your technique and what you need to do on the next play and the next play coming after that, when the offense thinks that they can come back over here and cash a check, you get a chance to be the bank and deny the cashing of that check. You get a chance to put your hands on the football, whether it's a pass breakup or it's an interception. You're going to get more opportunities now. Are you going to be prepared for them mentally? If you are all caught up on the play in which you messed up and you've got that dominating in your mind, you can't let it go. You can't get back and focus on your execution and your technique and knowing where to be and what to do. Well, they're going to cash another check over there. And then that's like compound interest. It'll just start building on itself. They cash 2 checks over there. They're going there again. If you're mentally not right, they're going to cash a third. And then now you become a duck. You become a sitting target over there. The best thing you could do when you give up that big play is rinse that out, have a short memory, and be back on it. So that's the first low-key thing you need to do. Have a short memory. 100%, that's what you need to be about. You're not going to dwell on, the losses that you have. The next one ties into that a little bit. That is, have a competitive spirit. Sometimes guys are, they do well in training. They go to all the trainings and all that, and they're, physically fit. And once again, I will say this, guys think that because they're strong and they're fast, that's everything. It's not. It's only a part of the equation. You also need to have a competitive spirit. You need to line up and realize every time you line up in a 7-on-7 event, a camp, or a game, it is a competitive situation and you're trying to dominate the competition in front of you. You really have to adopt that mindset. Really dive into that. Every time you line up, it's a competition. I don't want this guy in front of me to win not one rep today. And if he won a rep, I'm going to fix it on the next rep. He's not winning the next one. You have to have such a competitor's mindset at DB to excel at it. Great confidence, but also be ultra competitive. It's not okay that a guy caught a pass. Will it happen? Yes. It's not okay, though. I'm not trying to let you catch a couple more. Be competitive. You can't just be, oh, shucks out there. All right, whatever. You've got to go hard each and every play. If you're not a competitor, here's what happens if you're not a competitor. You're out there for 20 snaps and, one play you're really out there doing your thing. And then the next couple of plays, you're like, all right, whatever. No, that can never be the mindset. You're out there for 20 plays. You're trying to dominate for 20 plays. You're going to be on point. You're going to have your technique. You're going to know what to do because you don't want that guy to win any of these reps today. You're not trying to let him win at anything. Absolutely zero. You're not winning today. That has to be your mindset. If you need to become an actor and put yourself in a role mentally, that's where it needs to be. We are dominating everything that's happening out here today, every time. So if I'm in a 7-on-7 tournament and we've got round robin play, which could be 3, 4, 5 games on a Friday, and then Saturday it's the finals. Every single game, every single rep of every one of those tournament games, even if it's just pool play where it's, not going to kill you if you lose, you've got to dominate in all that. Forget about that. It's pool play. You got to send a message to the guy in front of you. You got to send a message to your teammates, and then you got to send a message to yourself that you're like that. So you can't fall asleep and I'm going to just not be a competitor here. You know what? I've got back-to-back pass breakups. I'm just not going to be a competitor on this one. Then a kid takes you deep touchdown. The 2 pass breakups you just had were ruled. They've just been nullified. First down, you got a pass breakup. Second down, you got a pass breakup. But on third down, they scored a touchdown. The end result of all of that was they scored a touchdown. So what about those 2 pass breakups on first and second down? You decided on third down, you were satisfied with what you did on first and second down. So you just decided, I don't want to be a competitor on third down, and you got bombed, touchdown. The end result of that drive for the offense and your opponent, touchdown. 6, 7 points, whatever they're issuing out for a touchdown. And I say that because, 7-on-7 tournaments have different scoring sometimes. You have to be just an elite, obsessed competitor every time you line up. That's in practice, that's in one-on-ones, that's in a camp, that's in 7-on-7, definitely in a game. Your mindset is, I'm not letting you win every time you line up. If you can't do that, stay to the side till you develop that. Or, coaches will help you get off to that side. You keep giving up enough, you fail as a competitor, they'll help you with getting off to the side and watching things. But if you don't want to get it to that point, you develop a competitor's mindset. And one of the best ways for you to do that is to do it just about in everything. Sometimes actors, when they're going to take the good ones, when they're going to take on a role, they go into that character role. So they're not going to start filming for, 6 months. All right. Or filming is 3 months away from now. But for that entire 6 or 3 months leading up to when they're filming, they are pretending they are that character. So I'm going to need you as a player to do that. Become that character that's competitive. So I don't care if you're playing cards with friends, you're playing a video game, you're racing someone in the street, whatever little games you're playing, you're a competitor. You're in a classroom and you compete in the classroom. I want the best grade. I want to turn in the best report. I'm going to do the best on this quiz. If you make that a part of your daily life cycle, it'll be easy to translate that to the field. Be a competitor at all times. The best players out there, if you think about some of the best DBs, Charles Woodson, Darrelle Revis, Deion Sanders, Champ Bailey, all these guys that you guys like to talk about, think about what kind of competitors they were. Tell me how many times you think you saw them taking off a play. Doesn't happen. So make yourself a full-time competitor. The last low-key thing, and you have to know this was coming, if you have paid attention to anything I've done on this channel or been listening to me for a while, that is have an IQ. I'm going to talk about this again. As a casual observer of the game, as a fan watching the game, we do so much on jumping into a guy's physical characteristics, and that's in all sports. All sports we do this. Shaq was so big, or Michael Jordan had such a great vertical leap, or LeBron is just such a tremendous athlete. Deion Sanders was so fast. This guy can really jump high. We tend to put our focus on that because that's just the obvious thing that we can see. I'm here to tell you, I'd be hard-pressed to think about and find any kind of Hall of Fame defensive back or any of the guys that we call great that didn't have tremendous IQs. Let's take the guy that was the best athlete probably to ever play the cornerback position, and that is Deion Sanders. You young guys know him as Coach Prime. If you haven't had a chance to go back and look up what he did in the past, do that. He's not just talking. 4'2", 40 guy, 3-sport athlete in high school, ran track in college, all the stories. Played a baseball game while at Florida State, jumped the fence, went over to the track and ran the 4x100, all those stories. You think that's just all that it was about for him. But I'm here to tell you that back in the day when he was playing, portable DVD players were a new thing, all right? Not everyone had them. Deion Sanders was perhaps one of the first guys that I'd heard about to ever carry around a portable DVD player and watch game film on the plane as they were going to their away games to go play games. He would have it in the locker room pregame as they were preparing to get a little bit of extra film study in so he can go play. Yeah, the guy that ran 4'2", that probably had a 40-something inch vertical leap, and all the athleticism that you saw him display when he was out on the field, still felt the need, despite he having all those super great physical characteristics, to go study extra to get an edge on the opponent. So if that guy with all those characteristics physically needed to do that to have an edge, what do you think you need to do? You think you get to skimp on any of that stuff? You think you get to skimp on any of the IQ stuff? If that guy needed to do that, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Put it in your head and get it there. You need an IQ to be great. You can't be a dumb football player. If you've gotten anything out of this podcast episode today, is that you cannot be an average intelligence football player.
Parents, dads out there, if you're trying to get your kid to the next level, you're trying to get him to the level of elite skills, you've got to use these resources that I have available to you. One is my book, 101 DB Tips. It's the greatest book out there for DBs. Everything on covering man, playing zone, playing corner, playing safety, how to study film. It's an excellent resource for your young tyke that's trying to become a big-time DB. Also, the All Eyes DB Camp members area is a superpower. Over 200 videos in there on all types of things like how to play coverages, technique, strategy breakdowns, and more. Two great resources for your young guy if you're trying to get him to the next level. Take advantage of them. Link down in the description below.
Maybe you're a guy that doesn't like to study, but if you love football, you better study or you're just never going to reach your full potential. And I don't want that for you. All right. If you're putting your time and effort in, you're lifting all the weights, you're running in that sun, you're running those hills, you're doing all that great stuff. Let's do it to be great when the season comes around. And that means football IQ. Perhaps you think watching film is boring. Get out of that mode. Figure out ways to make that fun for you. All right. Invent ways to make that fun for you because you're going to need it. You're going to need to study. You're going to need to understand what your opponent is doing to you. You're going to need to study your playbook so you know what to do when you're out there. You're going to need to study your playbook to know what everyone else is doing out there so you don't get tricked out on the field. Study, study, study. All right. So those are the three things. Have a short memory. Be an ultimate competitor and have an IQ. If you do those three things, along with all of the other stuff that the rest of the team and the rest of the country is doing to prepare for their season, you will be an improved player. You know how you can really improve? Grab yourself a copy of this book right here, 101 DB Tips, available in soft cover or ebook edition. Get this. Everything that you need to know to play defensive back is in there. If you read a tip a day, there's no chance that you won't be a really great player, much better in 2025 than you were in 2024, or if you're really trying to be elite. All right. This might not be for you. You might not want to be this good, but if you really, really want to be good, all right, and you're not afraid of being great, you get this book and you also join me in the All Eyes DB Camp members area. Over 300 posts at this point on all types of things. Coverages are explained in there. Technique is broken down. There's strategies on defeating the offense. There's lives in there. There's quizzes. There's all types of great information in there. And it's a whole community where guys are contributing and we're talking to each other. And they're really great for players. Also really, really great for coaches. If you're coaching, you need to be in there with all the rest of us. All right. Don't let people get the jump on you. They're getting this information and you're not getting it if you're not in the All Eyes DB Camp members area. So you need to do that ASAP and in a hurry. You'll love it in there. You'll love it in there. So I'll have links to both of these things down in the description below. The book and the members area. If you're there, 2025 is going to be so great for you. I can't stress that enough. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, if you did, give this video a like, share it with your friends. Don't hog all the information. And if you're not yet subscribed to the All Eyes DB Camp channel on YouTube, go ahead and do that now. Hit the bell so you're notified the next time I put out a great Indy Drills episode like this one. All right, that's it for me. I'm out of here. And as always, All Eyes DB Camp. Consistency breeds results.